before February 10th, the National Judicial Council, or on the 10th of February, the National Judicial Council, if the president still refuses or neglects to send the name of his lordship to the Senate before then for confirmation or non-confirmation, then the National Judicial Council can still recommend my Lord Honorable Justice Walter Samuel Kanu Onogi to continue in the acting capacity. But if NJC did not meet and they didn't do and they failed to do the recommendation, then automatically the next most senior chief justice, justice of the Supreme Court, outside of my Lord, will assume the position of an acting chief justice of Nigeria. And I say, God forbid that should happen.
Why do you say God forbid?
Because that will create instability or seriousness in the eyes of the international community. And why do I say so? Now, the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria has rolled out judicial policy that some of us believe that, if allowed to implement, will help speedy dispensation of justice in this country. For instance, part of the judicial policy that His Lordship has now rolled out is even in cases involving commercial transaction. Hitherto, we have policy dealing with criminal cases and political cases. Now, Nigeria is in economic reception, or quagmire, if I may put it. And a lot of people don't want to come to do business in this country because it takes eternity for cases in court to be disposed of. So if we have a pragmatic Chief Justice of Nigeria who had doled out this kind of policy, one expects the executive, who has constitutional responsibility to send his name to National Judicial Council, to send the name so that the man can sit down and see to the effective and effectual implementation of this policy, so that we can have quick economic recovery via court decision, not the hitherto delay in administration of justice. That's why I say so. And the bar has spoken that the delay is dangerous, and I have no cause to say the bar is wrong.
Why did they say the delay is dangerous? We're wrapping up now.
Because I have explained. Now we will be seen to be unserious people. We'll be seen in the eyes of the international community that a very sensitive arm of government, which is supposed to be independent, is, with respect, being subjected to political manipulation.
You've asked us not to impute anything political in this.
I said,
yes, it doesn't look like we can divorce politics from this as well.
What I said is the perception of the people. We cannot read politics into the appointment, but you cannot also rule out those who have political interest in trying to bring in their political interest to the office of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. And mark you, the so-called corruption in the judiciary arising out of political decisions, election petitions, pre-election matters. And like I say somewhere else, Nigeria the judicial officers are under tremendous pressure from political office holder, because in Nigeria it is said that what money cannot do, more money can do it. And politicians believe this, and very wrong too.
If that is the circumstances under which appointments are made in Nigeria, I mean, if you cannot divorce this, circumstances, around appointments, especially even judicial appointments. Now, can we pretend like as if it's just a constitution?
I'm not saying we should pretend.
We're following.
But that to say that the Constitution provides for political consideration before appointing judicial officer, that is what I say no. But you cannot divorce even the devil, knowing not the heart of a man. You don't know what goes on in the hearts of politicians, and they would have wished that their political stooges or their political houseboys are giving judicial appointments so that they can manipulate in the night.
When we consider...
And go to meet them Nicodemously in the night to discuss your destiny and my destiny, and then they expect the judge to say yes. So I'm not saying that people are not thinking that there's political persecution. But what I say is that looking at the provisions of Section 231 of the Nigerian Constitution, the Nigerian Constitution has set out the qualification of who is entitled to be Chief Justice of Nigeria. He must be a legal practitioner who has practiced law for a period of not less than 15 years and who has followed the processes set out in the Constitution.
When you talk about politics, you tend to paint it like as if it's only the politicians who play politics. You don't think that the NJC too could also be playing its own brand of politics?
I do not see the political parties that members of NJC belong.
Not the political parties. I mean, you do not have to belong to a political party to
maybe
to
the
play
boys
politics. In a sense, I mean, you talked about how the NJC could have sent more than one name, but they only sent one name. Do you think they're trying to force the hand of the president on this one?
I'm not in a position to speculate. They have made their recommendation. Now, if I recommend to you that upon Chamberlain as the MD of this your station, and there are many people you prefer, why wouldn't you write back to me and say, Mr. Kutepa, I'm sorry, this is your recommendation. I'm not accepting it because A, B, C, and D. Then I'll be in a position to advise myself and go and shop for other candidates for the position. The president has not done so. And people are speculating that he can appoint any other person from the justices of the Supreme Court or even from outside. Yes, constitutionally, that is correct. But as at now, the president has effectively been put into a position that he must act one way or the other.
Now you talk about visiting the AGF, and you said that the AGF said they will act within the time frame.
Yes.
Are you confident that that will still happen before February 10?
Well, I have no doubt that the Honorable the Attorney General, the President, and the rest are persons who show tremendous respect for the Constitution, because the Constitution is the ground law. No one in his senses will want to willingly breach Nigerian Constitution and expect Nigerian people to keep quiet. Nigerian society has become so enlightened, so much so now that, except that the right to privacy, your private life, even as a public officer, is under scrutiny. And having enlightened people like that, like I said from the beginning, that even those who are not lawyers now tend to know more of law than those of us who are lawyers, then it will be politically suicidal for any appointing authority to think that he can play on the collective intelligence of all Nigerians and say the recommendation you sent to me, which I have a duty to say I accept or not to accept, I will keep it in the locker and will keep quiet.
Well, Mr. Jibril Okutapa, we must say thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. Sunrise Daily will continue in just a moment. Do stay with us.